GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show that's as smooth as a freshly paved road, even when the markets are full of speed bumps. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton, and today we got back with us Lark Davis, tweeter, crypto investor, educator. We're going to talk about, is the top in or is the bottom in? It's kind of confusing out there right now, guys. Which way are we going? This cycle, it's feeling different, but is it actually different? We're going to dive into that, and then also we're going to talk about some upcoming catalysts. I'm talking FTX money coming in real soon. What does that mean? What do we think the impact of that could be? Hey guys, in 2 weeks is one of the biggest crypto conferences. I'm talking about Consensus Hong Kong, and we've partnered with them to get you guys 15% off tickets. That's February 18th to 20th in HK. Some of the biggest names and brands in the space are all going to be there speaking. And if you want to work in crypto, or you just want to get a sense of what is the vibe and what matters right now to the builders in the space, which often gives you an edge on your investments, you're going to want to check this out. Hit the link in the show notes. Use the code MILKROAD to get 15% off your ticket today. Before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button, hit like, give us a comment. Any way you can engage with the show while you're listening does me and the whole Milk Road team a big favor. With that, Lark Davis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. Lots to talk about today. Been an exciting few days in the market, hasn't it?
Exciting is a good way to put it. It's been an exciting few weeks. Let me like the chart that I was just looking at before we record. Let me pull this up. I was looking at fear and greed. Look at the fear and greed chart over the last month. Started off the month like mid 70s, peaked up into 80 around the inauguration. No surprise. So like was hovering in this like very, oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. Hang on one
I'm
second.
just about to say I'm not
Let
seeing it.
me, yeah, Lark, come on, you gotta help me out here. Uh,
I just moved my
uh,
screen. Is it me? Is it no? Okay.
so started off first half, basically the back half of January, fear and greed, 70 to 80, and then end of Jan just took a nosedive. I mean, we've obviously had DeepSeek and which tumbled markets, and then tariffs, Trump uncertainty, little Fed hawkishness, and it's just pushed us to a level that I would not expect, given the amount of positive news in the space right now. Lark, what's going on? Is this the end? Is this the top or is this the bottom? Where the heck are we?
I find it's interesting that we put on these rose tinted glasses and our recency bias just really messes us up. Everybody looks back on 2021 as some kind of grandiose bull run that was just like super easy and everybody made money. And everybody forgets about the 30-40% crashes in Bitcoin, the 90% drawdowns in altcoins that happened every few months. They forget that in the summer of 2021, it was basically a complete crypto Armageddon when everybody completely thought it was over and everything went to zero essentially. This is just another cycle at the end of the day. And so far, so good, in spite of all the drama, right? So last week we had a giant liquidation cascade. And those are pretty scary when they happen because they can move really, really fast. And we had billions, potentially tens of billions liquidated. And in that liquidation event, I'm just reminded of a few things that I want to tell everybody out there that you guys have got to stop taking so much damn risk on because I got so many DMs after that liquidation event last week. People telling me literally, I just lost everything, which is shocking to me because it means that people were using like cross margin. So they put all their collateral on the line, all their coins on the line for some kind of long position on, fart coin or something. We all love fart coin, right? But like, taking massive risks. And then they got liquidated for everything, which is crazy. Don't use cross margin. Okay. Don't put all your collateral on the line. Don't use too much leverage. You can use leverage, fine. Keep it isolated, keep it low. 2, 3x is enough. And use stop losses. For the love of God, guys, use stop losses. If you are doing trades, use stop losses. If you're not trading, okay, you just think that I'm just going to directionally swing this whole big thing, which is a trade in itself, but we think more about day trading. Don't use cross margin. Don't put your whole stack on the line. Okay. Never risk the whole stack on anything. Okay. Because when you get completely washed out, it is so hard to start from zero. Okay. That's why if you're trading, put 5% of your account into a trading account. If you lose the 5%, you're going to bounce back. But if you lose 100%, man, it's hard to start from zero, guys. So please be careful. Now, okay. So that public service announcement out of the way. Okay.
PSA
Be safe,
from
guys.
Lark. But
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody listen up. Be
So
careful.
now I want to answer the question about is the bottom or the top end. Now, there's been a lot of top calls recently. And you might say that the $109,000 was some kind of local topping moment before a bigger correction came into the market. Fine. But I don't think that it is the top. And there's a whole wide variety of reasons why that's the case. You can look at M2 money supply, which is likely to expand throughout 2025. You could look at Bitcoin dominance. Market has never peaked on Bitcoin dominance once before. Now, okay, maybe this time is different. We got Wall Street money here. It's all changed. It's not going to be the same. But the whole Wall Street argument really falls to pieces when you realize that we are on the cusp of getting probably a dozen different altcoin ETFs. I mean, what is the impact of a Litecoin ETF for a cryptocurrency that's got a market cap of $7, $10 billion, whatever it's got? Hundreds of millions of dollars inflows is going to have a dramatic impact on that asset. And guess what? Money's going to swing back around to altcoins and speculation. What's going to get an ETF next? Look what it did to Litecoin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So huge implications coming for that. So I don't think the top is in by a wide variety of metrics that we can look at. Everything is expanding. We have positive crypto regulation. We have the crypto president basically in the USA right now. DXY has been starting to trend down. And yeah, okay, there's fears around trade wars and stuff like that. But we can already see the markets giving less and less crap about it because the first trade tariff thing, oh my God, everyone's going to freak out. And we had the big liquidation event. Then the next tariff news, a bit of a sell off. And there was the aluminum and steel tariff announcement yesterday, I think. And that just caused like a couple percent dip in the market and everybody kept moving on. So we're starting to grow immune to that. So you can see a shift in sentiment slowly starting to happen where before it was good news was bad news. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's good news. Quick, sell your coins. Right? Like David Sachs comes out and says, we're going to make, this is the new golden age for crypto in America. Sell your coins quick. Whereas now it's like tariffs, more tariffs. Maybe I'll buy some coins. Right? So the sentiment's starting to shift where bad news is becoming good news in a weird way. So top's not in by a huge variety of metrics. Every on-chain indicator basically can look at shows we're approximately mid-cycle. Okay. Mid-cycle's dirty. It's nasty. Okay. It's like, you're at the bar, but you kind of wandered into the back alley and like weird things are happening back there, but you're still at the party, So like, that's kind of like mid-cycle right now. Okay. That's
What's
where we
going
are.
on back there, Lark?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. You don't want to know what's going on back there. It's a dark place, man. But, you just stepped outside for a cigarette and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck is going on back here? Anyway, life experiences. So look, we're about mid-cycle by all indicators. Now, is the local bottom in? I would argue most likely, unless we get some kind of new black swan event in the market where everyone freaks out. The reason I say that is that liquidation event last Monday, Sunday night, Monday, whatever, last week, that liquidation event, those tend to mark bottoms because basically it flushes out everybody who can be flushed out. And that's what happened. Again, tens of billions of dollars in liquidations happened. Everybody who could get flushed out got flushed out. And when you see like ETH drop from 3K to $2,100 in like an hour or two, or whatever that happened in, that essentially shows that a massive amount of liquidations happen because that's a liquidation cascade, right? So when the guy at $3,000 gets liquidated, that market sells all his coins. So the guy at 2,950, he gets liquidated next because the price gets pushed down and so on, so on, so on until you basically run out of people to liquidate at a certain level, which is where we got around $2,100 for ETH and a variety of prices for other coins. So those hardcore liquidation events tend to, of course, be great buying opportunities for anybody who has cash on the side, but also tend to mark bottoms locally anyway when they happen.
Let me show you the best chart that I've seen that gets me hyped right now when everybody seems to be a bear all of a sudden. This is a chart that shows compounding growth across all of crypto. So you've got quarterly stablecoin volume, all-time high in Q4 2024, 1.8 billion. Okay, sorry, 1.8 trillion. Okay, all-time high, and it's compounding. Like, this isn't like these aren't charts. The charts that I'm showing, if you guys aren't watching the screen, these aren't charts that look like typical trading charts where there's like big ups and big downs. They basically are going up over time. Quarterly DeFi revenue, all-time high in Q4 2024. Quarterly trading volume, all-time high in Q4. And then assets deposited in smart contracts, not quite all-time high. 2021 to 2022 actually beat this because NFTs were so insane back in the day. But we are getting very close. A a convergence of activity on chain, regulation, institutions, all these things happening all at once, and everybody is panicking as if it's over. I don't know why I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, does everybody know something that I don't? Please tell me. What am I missing here? And I guess, okay, pain, pain, I get that. I think there's a lot of pain. I think there's a lot of this is nothing to do with fundamentals because I just showed them. This is all to do with psychology and pain and expectations around meme coins, which have led everybody to get up, I don't know, like just really like be in a bit of a state of panic. It's just like if you're in that state, that's a scary state to be in as an investor. But it also just sort of shows that this is where as we bring in institutions into the crypto, which is happening, obviously at a rapid rate now, and is only, as you said, with more ETFs going to happen faster. We're going to see, I think, and we're starting to see this divergence of almost two markets, like the institutional market and the retail market, right? And it almost feels like you're talking to two different audiences. And maybe because of social media, the two audiences are getting completely different things. And I guess, I mean, I'll admit, and Lark, you'll probably admit the same. Definitely, in our communities and everyone we talk to, I'm getting the question, is the top in a lot right now, right? And it is, it does have on the retail side, but then on the professional side, all the institutions I talk to, everybody is like, yeah, like this normal cycle, no different, no worries.
It's very true. I mean, think about who the institutions are listening to. They turn on their, Bloomberg TV or whatever, and Larry Fink's there going, "Oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to $700,000." They go, "Guess I should buy another $1 billion in spot Bitcoin ETFs. Great, I'll 7x my money. That's fine, right?" Whereas retail lugs in like, "Oh shit, dog with sunglasses went to zero. Oh no, this is a scam market. It must be the top end, So it's a very much different sentiment, but also people are investing in different things. And the desire to get rich overnight is intensely high with retail. And look, there are ways where you can try to get in early to meme coins and stuff. The vast majority of people are playing the game completely wrong, right? They're risking way too much money. We had a big meme coin win the other day, and it's one of those things, like I put in like 0.001% of my portfolio, but a lot of retail guys would come in and there's, "Oh, that's going to go, so I'm going to put in 50% of my money." And then they lose it, and then, well, I guess crypto is a scam and this is the top of the market. You have to manage risk when it comes to this riskier stuff. And I know Bitcoin at nearly $100,000 is not that sexy right now. I get it. Okay, you don't want to just get a 2x. You didn't come here for a 2x. You're not going to risk life and limb for a 2x or a 5x or a 10x over 10 years. You're going to beat the S&P 500, by the way. I know, I'm going to invest in the S&P 500. Why not just buy some Bitcoin instead? Because you're going to beat the S&P 500 if Bitcoin goes to $1 million by the 2030s by a long shot. But people want the quick money. And that's fine. You can chase the quick money, but you have to understand with that quick money comes massive risk. And that's kind of where we see the divergence, is that the people who have portfolios heavily weighted in Bitcoin or some of the top coins. I mean, I know ETH has been super lame recently, but hey, at least you're not losing all your money with ETH, right? It's kind of just been the same price for a year and a half or whatever. So it's got that going for it. But
somebody make that a short.
But it's true though. It's true.
It's true. It is true. It is true.
Yeah, at least you're not losing your money on it, right? And you can be using the one thing about Ethereum, at least there's lots of things you can do with that collateral, right? You could be putting it in all kinds of staking protocols like EtherFi or whatever and making money, and you can be using it to farm. You can do something with it at least, right? You can't do anything with, dog in car number 99 coin, right? It just, so there's a big divergence about what retail's buying and chasing versus what institutional money is buying and chasing. And I would say if you've been taking too much risk and you got really hit bad last week in that liquidation, you need to sit down and actually have a serious conversation with yourself and say, what am I doing wrong here? How can I be better moving forward? You can still take some of those risks, but maybe you should have, like, I didn't mind the sell off at all last week because, well, I've got a portfolio which is weighted heavily towards the majors, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, stuff like that. So it's fine, right? And I don't mind if some of my risk stuff sells off a bit more because I know that the majority of my crypto wealth is in safer place.
Mhm. And you can, like, this is where a having a balanced portfolio is the key, right? Because you can hit these 20, 50, maybe 100, maybe even 1,000 X's, although they're very rare. So set your expectations wisely. But you can hit them, but in order to do well, you don't need to hit them with your whole portfolio. You only need to hit them with as you said, you did great with a meme coin recently with 0.001% of your portfolio. That type of trade can make a big difference. And so you stack trades like that, and that needs to be the mindset. I think it's the immediate return, the fast win that is making people, because they expect the only to do one trade and then to make it. It's like, no. Like, there's a reason that, like, every VC and private equity firm and hedge fund is out there making a lot of trades because they make a lot of mistakes and they know that not every trade is going to work out. So you need that diversification. Uh, Lark, I want to just shift though, because I don't want to be all doom and gloom here today. Like, I know a lot of people are, have had a tough time, but we think, local bottom, okay, feeling good. So here, here's the question that I think is on everybody's mind is, and at least here on this show, is we get lots of people saying 2025 all good. But then at the same time, it's a lot of people saying, "Oh, but we're going to chop for a while." And nobody seems to know, like, when the chop is going to end. Are we going to see a pump soon? Can you, I guess, what's short term? Next, where do you see us end of the month, end of the next month? And I think main question is, like, what's going to get us there? Like, what I know, maybe where do you see us is the wrong question because you don't know where we're going to be necessarily. What do you see coming that could take us back up and maybe break out of the Bitcoin 108 and take us up to that next level?
Sure. And obviously, no one's got a crystal ball, but there's a lot of things we can look at that might give us an indication about where we could be going. There's a wide variety of theories about when the market's going to top out, from sort of the April May theory to the October theory, which hits in with the 4 year cycle, to it's going to be a super cycle. We're not going to top out till sometime in 2026 because the M2 money supply is likely to pump into Q1 2026, according to analysts. So if that happens, then we could expect that crypto market prices might pump longer than people expect, which would really catch a lot of people off. In terms of the October top, that lines up with a whole lot of things, from the 4 year cycle to a potential strategic Bitcoin reserve bill hitting Congress, which is a very likely topping moment, much like El Salvador Bitcoin legal tender was a topping moment back in 2021. But in terms of the next few months, you're looking at a few different factors that are coming into play here. One is that economically, everything's pretty groovy right now. Rates are fine. Long term interest rates are slowing down. The DXY is slowing down. US jobs market's fine. I guess we'll get an inflation report this week. It's expected to have not changed, which should be fine. If it comes in hot, obviously, then people are going to start worrying, and that changes the dynamics slightly. Well, let's see how it plays out. The Fed, there's starting to be more and more of a narrative right now around quantitative tightening, slowing down, potentially ending. A lot of big banking analysts from Wall Street are saying that QT should be ending by June, which, if that starts to be factored into, like, the ties that Jerome Powell wears to his meetings, then we might see that. People talk about this stuff, man. Oh, what ties he wearing today? Is he going to be? Yeah, they really, it's crazy. You guys think way too much about this stuff. But anyway, if it starts being factored in that QT is going to be ending in the next few months, which there's no definitive word from the Fed. The Fed likes to keep things super vague all the time. so they can have always wiggle room to move one thing or the other. But if we see QT starting to slow down, or it looks like it's coming to an end, the market's going to start pricing that in and pumping. We have the FTX money coming very specifically for crypto, which is going to bring 10 billion bucks in cash basically back into the market, and a lot of that's probably going to flood into altcoins because a lot of the people who had money in FTX missed out on the majority of the run, and now they're going to want to revenge trade their way back up, and they're not going to buy Bitcoin. They're probably going to go out and buy dog in spaceship number 97, So like we're going to see money flow into the altcoin markets here as well. Plus, if we get any altcoin ETFs between now and let's say May, that's going to bring huge liquidity into the altcoin markets. I mean, imagine if by the end of February, the SEC comes out and says, we're going to approve a Litecoin, XRP, and Solana ETF. The amount of money and hype that that's going to bring back to crypto overnight is going to be absolutely insane, because suddenly Wall Street can buy $1 billion of Litecoin. Guess what? That's like 15% of the supply or something like that. That's going to affect the prices of the market. When these coins start pumping like crazy, people start paying attention again. People want to win again. People are making money again. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. People start chasing, et cetera, et cetera. You can also look at some things like, usually by the time the Bitcoin conference happens at the end of May, the price of Bitcoin tends to be topping out and then go into the summer lulls. So you probably want to think about getting out of markets if we do get a nice market bump between now and then by the Bitcoin conference, because it tends to mark at least some kind of terminal phase for the first half of the year, and then summers tend to be a bit lame for markets for a variety of reasons. But there's a lot of catalysts coming that can see prices pump in Q1 and into Q2. And I know it's been rough recently, but this happens every damn time. Okay, think back to 2021. Again, take the rose tinted glasses off. Remember that before Elon Musk came out and said they were buying Bitcoin, Bitcoin went from 42K back down to the mid 20s. Altcoins went to an Armageddon again, right? And then they all pumped like crazy, okay, going into January, February, March, April. So the markets can shift real fast, just in the same way all the sentiment got really negative in the last couple of weeks. Everybody's saying it's over. Give it a few days of positive price action. Suddenly it's worse so back. New paradigm of money. And remember this time when the greed starts setting in, the euphoria starts setting in, everybody acts like a genius, take some damn money off the table, okay? Because you see how volatile these markets are. If you never take any money off the table, you're never winning.
Quick break from the show, everybody, because I want to tell you about a product that I really like in the crypto space. That's the Crypto.com credit card. And I like it because I like to spend some of my on chain dollars. I want to keep them on chain. I don't want to off ramp. And the Crypto.com credit card is a great way to do that. Also, I love it because there's no annual fees. I like the perks a lot: Spotify, Netflix. Also, I have the Icy White card that gets you lounge access if you travel, which is really great, and so many more things. So if you guys want an on-chain credit card, check out the crypto.com card. Link is in the show notes. Check it out today. You won't be upset. Now back to the show with Lark. Yeah. The comment around, is this cycle different, is often not just about the timing of the cycle and the length of the cycle. It's also about the assets in this cycle. And is it going to be, are we going to see a typical altcoin season? Are all assets going to do well, or do we have too many tokens now? What what are your thoughts? Because I think a lot of people we're talking a lot about portfolio allocation today, is really what we're talking a lot about. Like, I think you and I feel really good, and I completely agree with everything you're saying. I think Q1 finishes strong. I think we break all-time highs on Bitcoin, and I think I could see a real good, and maybe I'm slightly wrong. Maybe it's not the end of March, maybe it's the beginning of April, but in the next few months, I feel pretty good, right? But what assets? What assets? And I'm not
Mhm.
talking I'm not saying the trading 100x, 1000x assets. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you've got any of those you want to talk about, go ahead.
I think it was Sir John Templeton who said that the four most dangerous words in investing is "this time is different." And people usually like to apply that to the downside logic, but it also applies equally to upside logic, because we think that, oh, well, this market cycle is so much different than the last one. This time is truly different. And yes, this time is always different, but there's so many things that are not different that it's not worth saying that this time is different because look, we look back, everyone's like, oh, meme coins have destroyed the cryptocurrency market and sucked all the liquidity out. Were you here for DeFi summer in 2020? Because it was the same. People were investing millions, tens of millions of dollars, more in some cases, into like 1,000,000% APY yams. Yams, yams, yams. Guys, come on. How stupid was it back then? People will play stupid money games every single time. Nothing has changed. Okay. So that's something we need to understand. A lot of coins will never reach their previous all-time highs, much like happened in 2021. A lot of the 2017 coins never even got close. Okay, now some, like XRP should have hit new highs in 2021. The SEC made sure that it didn't. So that's an anomalous case. But a lot of coins like EOS never went on to a new all-time high. Icon never went on to a new all-time high. And a variety of other coins just are not going to. So if you're holding some of those bags, you have to understand that in 2025, quite a few of those will not go on to new all-time highs. New shiny coins have already replaced them. They've obsoleted those old coins that you had. Okay. So you have to understand this. This is part of the game. But I think that you will still see a lot of money be made more consistently and with higher certainty in the things that have always made money. Top DeFi protocols, top layer one blockchains, because people love speculating what could be the next layer, what big layer one blockchain. Look at Sui, right? Sui had a crazy run. Well, what about the other Move blockchains, right? You've got Aptos, you've got Movement Labs, you even have IOTA, which has rebranded and launched a EVM compatible Move blockchain, right? So then that's a great example of an old coin that, probably had it not started innovating, wouldn't have done very well this cycle, but because they are innovating and hopping on the new trends, has a chance to do well. So these are the kind of things that have the potential to do really well in the cycle, so you can risk money on the high risk stuff, and people have done that every single cycle. It was ICOs in 2017, DeFi and NFTs in 2020 and 2021. It's meme coins and AI agents this cycle, most of which is going to go to zero in a very dramatic fashion very quickly, some of which will do well throughout the cycle. But if you want to make those more certain bets and make money more reliably, cream rises to the top, guys. So try to find the cream in the market.
The thing that I don't get is like, why isn't everyone just buying the tokens that have the most revenue? Maybe they're not the sexiest tokens, but like that feels like a very easy. If I was, out of crypto and I knew nothing and I just came into this space, especially when I think about who is coming into this space over the next few years, like
Mhm.
just look at those tokens. And there's a lot of tokens making millions of dollars, doing very well with great tokenomics. They're burning tokens. They have all the ingredients to be successful short term and long term. But it's like nobody cares about those tokens. Like I don't know. What's why does everyone
Yeah.
dislike them?
It's pretty crazy. There's some really good tokens out there with some incredible models. You look at like the Solana ecosystem, right? Radium's no one
Radium.
talks. Right? No one
No
talks
one
about
talk.
Radium,
I
man.
love radium.
Radium's put in huge gains. They have this perpetual buyback system.
Yeah.
Jupiter. Pay attention to Jupiter. And I've got a big bag of Jupiter. Just disclosures there, but look at these guys. They just recently announced that they're doing 50% buybacks from revenue, which is massive. That's, millions and millions of dollars a week of coins that are going to be bought back. That's huge buy pressure. So real economics do matter. And the vast majority of tokens have absolutely no economic models whatsoever to rely on that is ever going to move the price. You can look at all these layer two governance tokens as a great example. Nobody wants to buy that crap. Well,
No.
I'm gonna go govern Arbitrum, man. Yeah, with my $1,000 of Arbitrum, I'm gonna go govern it, man. The people who actually run Arbitrum, the team and the VCs. Your vote will never matter anyway. If you really are so passionate about layer two governance, nobody gives a shit. No one's
Yeah.
going to do that. It's a great example of a coin that has zero reason to buy. Now, if you want to make money on Arbitrum and you have some kind of insight for go guys, whatever buy the hell you want to buy. But realistically, there's absolutely no use case for it beyond governance. It's not used in DeFi. It's not used for Oh my gosh, my Litecoin's up to $130. Litecoin. I'm just
Ah.
watching on the side here, man. Come on, Litecoin. Anyway, real money revenues for coins does make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so definitely the market, the smart money in the market has been valuing that kind of stuff. You can see like Hyperliquid, it's a new coin that's come out, but people are paying attention to it because they have a buyback mechanism. And what's one of the biggest, most popular use cases of crypto? Trading. Perpetual markets make gargantuan sums of money. And these guys have a perpetual buyback system based on the fees. So it's got great token velocity potential.
Yeah. And, here's the thing. Like you talk about like radium and Jupiter, right? Uh, if you want to take advantage of both sides of the crypto ecosystem, one being the crypto casino and also the fundamentals and the infrastructure and the long-term bigger picture of where we all believe we're going, then that's who you invest in, right? All you have to do is be long volumes. We did an incredible show last Friday. I got to say, because it didn't get enough views. We did a show with Ryan Watkins from Syncrasy. Guys, go check out that show because he really lays out the case for exactly this, right? That like this isn't hard. You just need to stay out of the crypto casino. I mean, I know Aerodrome. I know you love Aerodrome, Lark. Like,
Mhm.
there's another one, right?
Yep.
Like, very, very well set up. Maker, if you like stable coins, which the whole world loves stable coins. Stable coins are an all-time high and they're not slowing down. Uniswap. I mean, like the list goes on. It's just, yeah, I shake my head sometimes. I gotta bring up Litecoin quickly because you brought it up.
Yep.
Okay, let's not steer people astray here. Give us your thoughts on Litecoin.
So I brought up the price of Litecoin. It's just hit
Because
my
there's somebody who just heard you freak out about the price. And they're like, oh
yeah.
my God, I gotta go
I was not
buy
Litecoin.
like all my bag in Litecoin.
Yeah, it just went up to my sell target, but I got stopped out of the trade last night by like 2 cents. So grr. But anyway, made money out, so it's fine. But you can see Litecoin, and actually, this very much is what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. We can see that Litecoin is actually pumping right now. Why? Why is this coin, which I've criticized heavily for a variety of reasons? There's no reason to have Litecoin. It's a useless coin in 2025. Oh, I need cheaper transactions of Bitcoin. Go use Solana and stablecoins. You don't need Litecoin. Now it's got its own little things. It's the master of its own algorithm. It's got a big mining community. It's got a big community of people who like the coin for its sort of narrative. Fine. But realistically, it's not beyond trading and mining and stuff like that. You don't really need Litecoin in 2025. Back in 2017, sure, Litecoin was cool, man. 2025, feels a bit stale. But guess what? It's a non-controversial commodity coin, and it probably is going to get an ETF. And I think you see right now the market at least front running some of that narrative potential. So very interesting to see that Litecoin has been doing this, and it has huge potential for price gains when an ETF gets approved. And then now extrapolate what's happening with Litecoin to what's going to happen to Solana, what's going to happen to XRP, what's going to happen to Dogecoin when they get ETFs, and they will.
Yeah. Doge is the way. Okay, wait, actually quickly back to Litecoin. So let's be clear here though. You hit your sell target right now. You're
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
out.
but well, I'm out because I got stopped out earlier. But on that particular trade, yes, it hit the area that I was looking for. But it's not to say that it can't keep going, especially if you get news tomorrow that a Litecoin ETF has been approved, it's probably going to
It's
pop off
gonna, yeah.
pretty extreme. That being said, this was a very specific trade scenario, right? In terms of, long-term spot bags for Litecoin, I'm not a buyer of that. But I can definitely see the trade right now around a Litecoin ETF hype move.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and the ETF effect is just I think there's a lot of people who uh they 'cause so Bitcoin ETF did so well. ETH ETF to us did not do well. But the thing that you need to remember, ETTF actually did do well. It did. It finished the year with up $2.5 billion, and it did that in a matter of 6 weeks because it was at a time when the markets were pumping. So I think there's just this belief that only the Bitcoin ETF can do well and no other ETFs can do well, which I think is inaccurate. So there's going to and we know there's going to be more ETFs coming. Timing very difficult to predict. Definitely I think will be this year. As you said, it could be like in the next few weeks. I think that's unlikely, but it could be with all of the changes that are happening over the SEC, could be, or it could be more likely, could be late spring Q2. Maybe it takes a little bit longer because they're moving a little bit slower. It's tough to. These are difficult things to predict.
There is a lot of chatter starting to go on in the background, which makes me think that they could come sooner than we think. Obviously, until we get actual approvals, who knows? But we're starting to see, little things going on in the background, refilings of certain things, which means that they're probably talking to the SEC because the SEC would have asked them to do refilings. We're seeing applications to list on certain exchanges and stuff like that. The kind of movements that would only happen if there's a relatively high level of confidence that these things are going to be approved,
Yeah.
essentially. So, how soon it happens, who knows? But I think we get these things coming through. And what's interesting too is that you can't discount the fact that when the Ethereum ETF came out, it was a bad time in the market, and Gary Gensler delayed the actual listing about a month from approval, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe the market's just not as excited about ETH. If we get a Solana ETF or a Dogecoin ETF or a Litecoin ETF, maybe the market's much more excited about that. And people on Robinhood or wherever else, when they're buying these ETFs, are much more excited about those assets versus Ethereum. There's a simple reality we have to confront as well. Maybe they're going to be more into altcoin ETFs.
Yeah, I want to go back to, you brought up Doge before, and I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on Doge, because the thing that I just can't stop thinking about is, like, I feel like I wake up at night and I'm like, oh yeah, right. It can't stop thinking about Elon is running this Doge, this Department of Government Efficiency. And there's this website that has been created for this department that literally has the Doge dog on the website. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, it feels like Elon is literally screaming at all of us, being like, yeah, I'm gonna do something with that chain. Like, whether it's on X or who knows. What are your thoughts on Doge?
I don't know if Elon's necessarily going to do something with it. Elon just is a bit of a troll. He likes the meme. He likes having fun. So maybe there's not that much more to it. But Dogecoin is kind of like Litecoin, in my opinion. It's one of those coins. I mean, it's 50 billion, 40 billion, whatever dollar meme. I mean, how much upside potential is really there? That has no actual real world use case. Not that a lot of crypto does, but just what's the purpose of using Doge versus using something else? So the one thing it's got going for it, probably, which is going to pump the price up like absolute mad, is an ETF. There has been an ETF filing for Dogecoin. It'll probably come because, love or hate Dogecoin, the simple reality is it's a non-controversial commodity coin. It's the master of its own algorithm. It's merge mined with Litecoin, by the way, in case you didn't know that. So it's one of those coins that's probably going to get an ETF, and $1 billion of inflows into a Dogecoin ETF is going to have an extremely outsized reaction price wise. So that's probably what gets Dogecoin moving in 2025, not Elon. I think the Elon effect for Dogecoin was over in 2021, and nobody really cares when Elon tweets something about Dogecoin anymore. I think people have just become accustomed, like, yeah, he just tweets all kinds of bullshit all the time, so don't really need to pump the price around that.
Interesting. Okay, it's nice to hear my opinion, my thoughts challenged, because I feel, I don't know why, I just feel like he's gonna do something with it eventually, but it's not necessarily a good. That's not a reason to make a trade on something,
Well,
especially one that's so high.
can I just say this? It's still in the Tesla website, apparently. They still have the code in there to accept Dogecoin payments on the Tesla website. It's never been activated, but the code still exists on the website. So maybe they do something with it at some point when there's sort of more regulatory clarity. But, I think it's a much more reliable bet to say, well, we're going to see ETF hype around Dogecoin versus waiting for Elon to bring some kind of eyes and attention back to it.
For sure. Yeah. Lark, thanks as always for your thoughts and your laughs today. There were some good ones. I hope to maybe meet you outside of the bar having a cigarette someday. I don't know what goes on there, but hey, if you guys want to join me and Lark outside of the bar with a cigarette, let us know in the comments. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wicked awesome day. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your number one resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note, this show is for educational purposes only and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.